Hello, world. Welcome, welcome. My name is Alex. I am an SEO expert here at Webtec. While we just wait for a few more to jump on, I'm very excited to have a chat with you all about how SEO plays a part for small and medium businesses and also how you can actually get involved yourself. So there's obviously a few ways to get involved in SEO. Knowledge might be there, might be here and everywhere, but this is just a little bit of information about how you can get started at home. Of course, we wouldn't mind working with you as well. While we just wait for a few more to start joining in, I'll just ask if anyone is tuning in, let me know where you're calling in from, whether it be your company name, where you're calling from, potentially tell us a little bit about your business as well. My colleague is going to be in the comment section, and any questions that arise throughout this process, feel free to drop them in there and I will get to them as soon as I'm finished up with all my monologue. So let's just sit tight for a while and we can just check how many people start showing in, and we should be up and running in the next couple of minutes. Minneapolis. Hey, Joel from Minneapolis. Lovely to have you on board. Hey, Anna. Nice to have you on board as well. Patrick from Columbus. Very good. Samantha from New York. Lovely to have you here as well. Just to reiterate, guys, if there's any questions that pop up throughout this process, feel free to drop them in and I'll do my best to answer them as we go, potentially at the end. And just letting you know as well, if you drop in your company name or connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a little message with your company name and email, you actually are able to claim some free SEO with us, just a trial for a few weeks, just to see how we can help out. So if there is anyone interested in that regard, please feel free to jump in. But hey, what I might do is just get going. Obviously, like I mentioned at the start, my name is Alex. I'm an SEO expert here at Webtec. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Hopefully, I can make this as easy to digest as possible, and we can get things going. Just seeing a few more comments come in. Alexandra from Norfolk and Cameron, lovely to have you guys here as well. So let me just get started and highlight a little bit about what we're going to be covering today. So first thing is, I guess the big flaming question is, what is SEO? I'm not too sure if some people have extensive knowledge in SEO, potentially none. The good news is that it will be easy to understand. I'm going to put this in simple terms as best as possible. I'm going to cover why SEO is important for small businesses, and like I mentioned at the start, how you can get involved yourself before working with professionals like us, 4 strategies that you can start to implement, and then we'll discuss a little bit more about our next event at the end as well. And any questions that arise, we can cover them there as they start coming in. So a little bit about me. Obviously, I've been doing SEO for a little while. I guess you'd call myself an SEO geek. I've about 6 years in sales and marketing, and I spend a lot of my time looking into people's websites. Not only what happens on the screen, but very much what's behind the scenes. So I use a few tools that help me to analyze, what makes a website tick. And a big part of why SEO is the most powerful form of digital marketing for me is that it's really uncapped with where you can take it, but it does take some time to get there. If you have any questions about me or anything that you are curious about, again, please feel free to drop them through into either a message straight to me or into the comments below as well. But let's get stuck in. So SEO obviously stands for search engine optimization, and it has a lot of hats. There's a very multifaceted approach to making sure that you show up and appear to your audience on Google. So if we were to describe what SEO is, it's not just one thing. It's a whole set of processes that are aimed at improving your website's rankings and search engines. Now, myself and essentially everyone else that gets on here as well is probably only going to interact with the first few results on Google. Very rarely you're actually going to go to the second or third page and get in there. So what we want to be doing in terms of SEO is we want to get you showing up as high as possible on those search rankings. That's going to lead to more organic search traffic. And it's not just attracting a sheer quantity of people, it's all about quality as well. So what SEO really does is it speaks to your specific target audience. It helps you to find people that are searching for exactly what you are intentionally displaying to them. How do we do all of this? We're just fulfilling our users' search needs. So what that means is we're providing relevant content that's really optimized in terms of quality, and we want to make sure that we provide a good user experience. Now, SEO isn't just about the user and what people understand, and as well as a human. Google is the one that really determines how successful they are, or other search engine as well, but Google being the most important one. In terms of things to keep in mind with SEO, so if you are thinking about embarking on an SEO journey for yourself at home, I encourage it. There are a lot of good material out there. Plus, my inbox is always open. And if you ever need to ask me any questions, first thing to set a realistic expectation with SEO is that it takes time. If everyone could unlock the world of organic traffic in the drop of a hat, then they would. But realistically, if I talk to my clients, I try to map out a 12-month timeline to really give an expectation that things take time. It takes time to open doors to your website, and SEO is very much a snowballing effect. It takes a little bit to get a very small amount of snow moving, but as it gets bigger and keeps picking up momentum, then eventually it does start to carry itself with little or no assistance. So as we're continuing on, SEO is the most important thing to consider in SEO as well, is it's no longer a might have, it's now a must have. So what I mean by that is the days of SEO being not very competitive are in the past, and something to live by as well is any amount of SEO done on your website is better than none. So if you were to take anything away, just do as much as you can yourself until you do need to call in an expert's help as well. Other thing to consider is that SEO in theory is quite simple to understand, and especially if I can try and describe this in urban lingo, then what we're thinking as well in terms of practicality is that it's very, very diverse. There's a lot of technical aspects. There's a lot of stuff that I won't even mention. We spend a lot of our time making sure that we understand the latest trends, strategies, and also the algorithms that Google puts in place to make sure that it keeps the rankings consistent for people. If we think about exactly what SEO is for small to medium enterprises and what we can expect from it, first thing is that we want to achieve is increased traffic. Now, if you are a small business owner, you're probably wanting to grow. If you aren't wanting to grow, then you're pretty happy with how things are going, but it's crucial. If you want to start to boost your growth in sales, there's only so much that word of mouth and referrals can do for you. So thinking about bringing organic traffic to your website, relevant visitors who actually want to do business with you is very, very, very important. Other thing is an increased awareness, which can be an uphill battle. So it's a very competitive space, specifically if you are going out there and making waves in the market, you're very aware of the competitors that are out there. So you need to be cautious that awareness might take some time, but of course with other supplementary marketing methods, potentially social media, whether you're doing old form marketing, potentially a bit of outbound as well, all of this equates to better awareness, and SEO is a massive part of that. And there's something in here that I'm going to show you is how to really make sure Google understands what you're here to achieve. If you are still getting started, what it does, it helps you to connect with your target audience early. So what we mean by this is just making sure you're speaking to the right people. And if you do a good job and if you give them a good experience, which I hope you'll do, then that means they will spread the word. So increased awareness is going to lead to better word of mouth marketing as well, which will give you a competitive advantage. Every little 1% counts, and anything that you can do along the way to help your SEO performance in Google is always going to equate. Now, keep in mind that timeline that we're talking about, it's a minimum of 6 months. It's probably minimum of 12 months as well. But anything after that, it's just a bonus that keeps coming in. So every little 1% win counts to give you that competitive advantage. And of course, as I mentioned before, you can actually do quite a bit of it yourself. Basic SEO isn't too hard to comprehend. But once you open the can of worms, it can actually become quite complex, but that's where we come in. So what I'm going to do is just remind you all that we do have a free trial for all attendees at the moment. So 3-week free SEO trial. Drop your name, drop your company name and email in the comments below, or get in touch with me on LinkedIn if you prefer not to drop your email in there. It's entirely up to you guys. And we can sweeten that up a little bit as well. One trialist will be selected at random, and you will win 3 months of free SEO from us here at Webtec. So that means we'll be implementing a complete A to Z strategy for you. 3 months, which it's not going to unlock the world of organic traffic, but it's well and truly going to send you on your way, understand what kind of topics, keywords, and the whole concept of SEO is going to do for you. Let's talk about the strategy. So I'm not only going to be talking and educating a little bit around what SEO is, I'm going to be giving you guys a few things that you can actually do yourself at home. So the first thing we're going to talk about is unleashing the power of Google My Business. So Google My Business, I'm sure we've all interacted with it. If you're going out to a restaurant, you're probably going to do a bit of research, dump it into Google, and then you're going to see the little opening hours, etc. If you don't have that set up on Google or for your business already, highly recommend it being the first thing you do after jumping on this call, because it does take a couple of weeks to get set up. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the art of keyword optimization. Now, if you're not too sure what keywords are, I will describe that, but it should be a general understanding that people will be searching for terms, and keywords are what we call them in the SEO space. Another thing we'll touch on is how we're going to build some strong backlinks, and that is going to help increase the trust of your website in Google. So if you think about your website, it's interconnected with everything else on the internet. The more connections and the stronger your network or your web is that spreads out, then your website is going to have better success. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the importance of technical optimization, emphasis on the word being technical. If there's something that's going to be, a little bit difficult to implement in this regard, it's going to be a backlinking, it's going to be a technical SEO, but I'm here to help you understand the simplest ways that you can get things going and provide a few recommendations as well. But let's start talking about Google My Business. So I'm sure we've all seen it, as I just mentioned before. And when we talk about Google My Business, so what it is it's Google's free business listing feature. You don't have to pay a cent. All you have to do is have an address that they can send a little code to a couple of weeks after you apply. It shows up in the mail and you can activate it. In a few days, you're up and running on Google. And this is so powerful. What it does is it helps you to increase the visibility and chances of appearing in Google searches, Google Maps, and other Google services. And that means when you start to show up in search results, if someone's in your local area, it's actually going to display the top 3 local results before any of the organic search results as well. So if you can get up into the local community's eye in that regard, then this is going to be very favorable for a lot of you. Obviously, it results in more exposure and more leads coming in, and allows a better user and customer experience for people in order to get in touch with you as well. So in terms of how we want to optimize your Google My Business, so I've taken a little screenshot of who we are. So we are based in Stockholm. Obviously, we are Webtec. Not too sure about how much you know about us. We've been around for a little while. We obviously specialize in website designs as well as SEO. And this is a little snippet of what we've got up here on ours. Now, some Google My Businesses are amazing. The more 5-star reviews you have, the better you're going to look in terms of credibility and reputability. So the first thing that we need to do is you need to verify your business. That's the little process I talked about. You jump on, you fill out all your information, you put your address in, get everything sorted. 2 weeks later, that little code shows up in the mail, and then you are off to the races, nice and quick. You really need to pay attention to how you fill out your profile. So if you are, potentially writing kids' books as an example, and making sure you display yourselves as an author and not a bookstore is going to be very important for Google to understand, as well as other things. So as we can start to fill out our profile completely, you need to make sure it maintains the accuracy. So double check, triple check, get your parents to check it, get your sister to check it. Make sure that everything up there is accurate and very available to people to understand. Next couple of things we want to do is you need to choose relevant categories and stay consistent in how you're communicating with your audience. So when it comes to categories, they do give you a list that you can choose from. So do your best to try and factor in. Of course, there are a few ways around it. My advice, if you can't find your category, ask a colleague what they would categorize you as, or jump into Google itself and actually just go through a quick Google. There's a lot of information up there, including a blog that we've actually put together, which I will drop in the comments below. So if you can have a look into that, this will give you the entire checklist and step-by-step process and how you can optimize your own Google My Business page. People love a humanized interaction. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one, I don't want to go in and do business with people that are just robots. I love a bit of personality. This means I like to see the people behind the business. So include some semi-professional pictures, potentially the team, something that you do outside of just your products and services that you're offering. That way people can connect with it a little bit more. If they connect with it more, it's going to lead to better reviews. Your reviews are your be all end all. We pride ourselves on the fact that we are a 5-star agency, and making sure that you have good Google reviews means that you can embed them on your website. You can also brag about them a little bit as well, like I just did, and making sure every time you have an opportunity to get them in, you can then interact with the people that are leaving reviews too, which makes you feel, it makes you look like you are very engaged with your clients. And the last thing is with this, you want to leverage some posts. You can actually put up updates on Google My Business. And the more that Google sees the fact that you're maintaining regular consistency in how you implement and interact with Google My Business, the better you're going to be benefited. So just to summarize, as we go through these, first thing is verify your business and get that code coming in the mail. Fill out your profile completely with very accurate information, double check and triple check, make sure there's consistency across the board and you're choosing and positioning in the relevant categories. Humanize your brand, humanize your company by using some semi-professional pictures as well as professional pictures. Of course, we don't just want pictures of your lunch popping up on your Google My Business. Encourage reviews, get people engaged, respond to them, make sure they feel like their good insight is also being recognized, and then keep people updated if you have a specific event on, if you're offering a sale, and everything in that regard as well. So just a quick reminder, check out our blog in the comments below. Any other questions around this, if you want to set up a quick 15-minute call with me to go through this as well, please feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn and I can get all that organized. After you've set up your Google My Business, now we need to start thinking about how we're going to get people onto the website eventually. Emphasis on eventually. So keywords are how we describe the phrases and the terms that people will be searching for on Google that we will hopefully have implemented on your website in the right places. And if we were to describe what a keyword is, it's essentially what people are typing in to find you. So they feature on the pages of your website, which means your headings, anything that people can see and interact with. They also show up in the meta information. That's when you jump into the search engine and you can see the business and a little bit of info to give you a bit of an insight. If they're optimized with keywords, Google's going to understand where you want to be ranking and what you want to be ranking for. And also, in a very technical point, it's going to describe the images on your website as well. How do we actually find what keywords are going to work? When I first started doing SEO quite a few years ago, I thought I was the bee's knees. I thought I had it all cracked, and I really didn't. And the first word I ever ranked for was the word about. You can imagine the word about doesn't bring any business in. So I really took a deep dive into understanding how to research keywords properly and understanding that every time you highlight a good targetable keyword, you're opening another door to your website. The intention with SEO is to open as many doors as possible to try and fill people coming through them. And as we understand what door is letting the most people into your website, you want to utilize it, expand it, and make your strategy more expansive based on that keyword in particular. So keyword research is all about finding what works, it's analyzing the search terms, and making sure that you're using that data for a specific purpose. So it's going to help you to uncover queries. It's going to help you to look at statistics. And it's also, if you use a great keyword research tool, like I'll show you in a couple of slides, it's going to make sure you understand what keywords are going to be difficult and what keywords are going to be easier to rank for as well. Some keywords are going to be difficult, some are going to be easy. And this is where we're going to start to use the term long tail and short tail keywords. Okay, the difference between a long tail and short tail keyword really comes down to popularity. Many people will search for short tail keywords, while few will search for long tail keywords. And probably know what you're thinking. Short tail keywords with more people searching are probably going to be the better choice, but it's actually the vice versa. Remember I mentioned we're looking for quality over quantity. So people that are really quality leads who are going to be searching in are looking for exactly what you're offering through long tail keywords. Short tail keywords are broad, generic, they're popular, and they have high competition, which means more people are going to be searching them, which means ranking for them is going to be quite difficult. For example, if you're looking for a beautiful pair of brown leather shoes and you just typed in shoes, you're probably unlikely to find those brown leather shoes. Whereas if you did type in brown leather shoes, even better, brown leather men's shoes, size whatever it might be, then you're going to be very likely to show up on, be into that search result with those specific products. So short tail and long tail keywords, we are looking to target those long tail keywords because we're looking for quality, we're looking for specifics as well. I've got a couple of graphs together as well to understand a little bit better. Take the first one, for example. If you're just looking for furniture, you're going to be having quite a few results that start to pop up. If you have a look down in here, we have about 600,000 queries coming in the US each month for furniture. Whereas if you were looking for to fill out an office with vintage office furniture, you're going to be more likely to find exactly what you're looking for, even though only 300 people per month are going to be searching for that term. So for a business owner, don't be scared by using long tail keywords. And a little secret here, you do want to use a little bit of both. And then this way it's going to lead to some decent conversion rate, some decent exposure here as well. Take this example. If we use a short tail generic keyword, it's going to have a very high search volume with a low conversion rate. In the opposite, if we go for a long tail keyword, free responsive WordPress themes for blog websites, the conversion rate is going to be a lot higher, but the competition is going to be a lot lower, which means it's going to be easier to rank for that keyword. And that is going to bring more quality leads onto your website in the meantime. Where should we be putting keywords as well? So this is probably the most common question that I get asked is where keywords should be and what keywords should I be using? They should be on all different areas of your website. The most efficient way to add new keywords to your website, keeping in mind that Google loves new, relevant, consistent posting, is to utilize a blog system. If you haven't got a blog system set up on your website, I would highly recommend looking into how to do it first of all, and making a plan to post. I would recommend start with one per week or one per fortnight. Keep in mind that anything done for SEO is better than none. So putting up these new keywords and these blogs that should be optimized for SEO. One of the webinars coming up in the next couple of months with us is how to optimize a blog post completely for keyword optimization. So keep in mind, if you're a little bit lost on how to get there, then that's going to be on the way, or my door is always open as well. If you do know a thing or two about website design, or if you've put together your website yourself, your H1 and H2 headings are going to be where Google is going to be looking for those keywords most importantly, as well as your meta titles, your meta descriptions, which I mentioned before, and also how to describe those images. Another really good way to look at it is your URL. If you have a page or a subpage that is selling a specific service, try and optimize that with your keywords as well without writing a big long-winded sentence. That way you'll be able to get people in and Google will register that as the relevant content on the page as well. So let me give you a bit of an action plan. And this is, if you are taking notes, this is what we are looking to write down. First thing is brainstorm and write down as many possible keywords as you can think of, how people are going to be searching for your specific product, business, or company. Could even be your name as well. Names are a very common keyword. And just have a big list of keywords and start to look into a keyword research tool. I've put some of my favorites down here. Ahrefs or Ahrefs is what I use myself personally. That way we have a premium subscription and you have access to their fantastic database with a lot of great relevant content up there and up-to-date info as well. SEMrush is very similar to Ahrefs, just a little bit of a different system, also a paid premium version, but Ubersuggest has a fantastic free trial that you can do. So when I started out with SEO, I started to use Ubersuggest, founded by an SEO guru and marketing whiz called Neil Patel. And it's fantastic. You can jump in there and you can use it for a few hours a day, and you can start to base your keyword strategy on there. If you're looking to just go the Google route as well, if you are selling a product and interested on especially what time of the year and search queries around that specific product or term, Google Trends is fantastic. And also the keyword tool in Google Ads is also a nice way to look into this. There are a few more up here as well, but Ahrefs is certainly my pick, and Ubersuggest as a free option would be my suggestion here as well. So after you've selected your respective keyword research tool, it's time to narrow down your list of keywords. So I would suggest typing in, first of all, what you think people will be definitely searching for. You might even have a couple of long tail keywords you've already thought of. They will be able to tell you the amount of search queries, difficulty, traffic expected to come to the website, and also how much people are spending on terms of ads and cost per click as well. So my suggestion here is seek out the lower difficulty, higher traffic, long tail keywords as a priority. So keep in mind, instead of just searching shoes, people are going to be searching for brown leather shoes. So making sure you are focusing on those long tail keywords is crucial, and use a less is more mindset as well. 5 fantastic long tail keywords that are very specific to your target audience with the right amount of traffic is better than 50 short tail keywords that you're going to have a very, very difficult time in ranking for. Not to say that it's impossible, but it will cost you a lot of time and it might cost you a lot of money as well. So just to summarize through all of this as well, first thing is get brainstorming, get into a keyword research tool. Free choice would be Ubersuggest. Ahrefs would be my premium suggestion, or SEMrush as well. Start to narrow down your list of keywords. You can start with 5 fantastic long tail keywords, but try and build that list out to 15 or 20 if you could. And then you have a lot of opportunities to create blog content as well. It gives you more ideas in terms of blog topics, but always remember that a less is more mindset is how you target keywords as well. I wouldn't go above 20 in your first 6 months of SEO optimization as well. If there's any questions around this, please feel free to get in touch on that regard, but I will start to bring on the insight to backlinking. Backlinking is probably the most difficult part of SEO in terms of practicality. Learning how it works isn't too hard, but implementing it can be quite difficult. So a backlink, also maybe referred as link building, is a process where links from a page on one website are put into another. Essentially meaning a backlink is put on someone else's website and points back to yours, or vice versa. A backlink for them could be from your website back to their website, and we call those external links. There are also there's another term called internal link, and that connects your certain pages on your inside your website. So for example, if you're on your home page, you have a link to your service page and it takes you to your service page, and then you have a link on your service page back to your home page or your blog page. These are internal links. External backlinks and internal links are going to be used in conjunction to show Google that you're very trustworthy. So hopefully that's a good insight to how backlinks go in place, but how do we actually get these in place? So what these do is they actually influence what we call a domain authority. We want to really address external and internal backlinks to help you increase your trust in Google. And domain authority is a really common tool that is a term as it is used. Ahrefs has also built their own algorithm, I guess, to understand how it works. And also domain rating is essentially a score that predicts how likely a website is to rank in search engine result pages. And it's on a scale of 0 to 100. Now, getting to 100 is near on impossible if you're a small or medium business, but what we consider a really good benchmark is a score for 50 or above. If you can get your domain rating score up to there, higher likelihood of ranking for keywords is going to happen, and Google's going to spend a lot more time on your website, scanning it, sending out its little crawls, and understanding what exactly it is you're looking to rank for. If you are curious on what your domain authority score is at the moment, if you type in Ahrefs or Ahrefs domain rating checker, you'll get a free option where you just drop in your URL and it'll give you a number. Now, I'm curious if anyone wants to go away and do that now and then see how high any of these are. If anyone's sitting above 30, it means you've got some fantastic backlinks in place. If anyone's sitting above 50, then you've done a very good job if you haven't even known what a backlink is. But most likely, most of you, if you haven't spent any time learning about SEO or implementing it, they're going to be sitting quite low. So how do we increase domain authority? How do we put these backlinks in? So it's a mixture between quantity and quality of links, and it's all about pointing back to your website. What we want to do is try and get some links in place that are coming from a website with a higher domain rating, and that will, by affiliation, also include yours. You are who you hang out with. It is your network. If you have a high valued network, then by yourself, networking with them and being involved with them, you're going to increase your value as well. Amazon, for example, doesn't even score at 100. They score at 96. We've been working on our backlinking strategy quite substantially for some time now, and we've managed to get ours up to 65 as well. In terms of how we are going to build backlinks, and this is a few little tips and tricks, what you could do is get involved in your local community in terms of press releases or potentially local blogs, anything industry related. Reach out to them and ask them if they'd be available to potentially make a guest post or mention you in one of their upcoming blog posts. With linking, it is quite common to actually pay for links from time to time as well. So this could be an option for a few people. Just make sure you do your due diligence and they're not a dodgy link as well. Another idea is to hold special events and get some promotion through PR. So if you have any press releases that are going out, and if you ever get mentioned on an online magazine or news junket, always ensure that they put your website URL somewhere in that article, because that will be there forever. And not all backlinks stay in place forever, but when they're on the web in terms of a press junket, always ensure that your link is in there, because that means the backlink will stay for a while. Local business directories are a very common way to get involved. This could be a way you can actually pay for some access, or there are free business directories as well you can get in. Best case scenario, what you do is just go out there and see how many local business directories are available to you, and just register yourself in as many as possible, which will lead to good quantity of backlinks. From time to time, these local business directories don't have a very high authority themselves, but like I mentioned before, it's all about quantity and quality in conjunction. Another way you can do it is create a blog covering potentially local or industry topics, and ask for it to be posted on someone else's website as well. So if you highlighted that maybe a mentor that you've met through LinkedIn that you look up to is posting relevant content about something you do have knowledge in, it might be worth opening up a dialogue there and see if they're open to a guest post where you can get your link back to your website in place. Potentially you do the same thing for them. You scratch their back, you scratch yours as well. A little cheeky way to get into this is to use one of those SEO tools that I just mentioned before, and get into try and find and do some research on your competitors to see where their backlinks are going in place, and get involved in the same area. SEO behind the scenes, we do pay a lot of attention to what happens to our competitors and why they're doing a lot of good things, potentially why they're doing not a lot of good things as well. The last suggestion, which obviously is going to be easiest in terms of time frame, but it will cost you a little bit of money, is to work with us. And we'll be putting in those backlinks for you. We have a fantastic, innovative white hat backlinking strategy that includes guest posting and all sorts. So if you are interested in that regard, please get in touch with me as well. So just to summarize, backlinking in theory is all about connecting your website to other internets on the web. It's all about your network. Your network is your net worth, essentially. The better that you're connected, your better websites you're connected to, the better your website is going to be trusted, which is going to lead to better exposure in terms of keyword optimization. Google's going to spend a lot more time on your website and boost you up those rankings as well. Benchmark we want to reach is 50. Most of you might be sitting quite low on that, and this is where our free trial is going to come in handy. The free trial is specifically around increasing that domain rating to see how responsive you would be to our SEO strategies before we start utilizing our other metrics as success as well. So hopefully you've kept track of these, and that leads me into our fourth and final strategy, which is all about technical optimization and page speed. Technical SEO is what happens when we prepare the website. So obviously it's not going to be interacted with. It's not going to be the words that's written on the page. It's more or less the back end. It's what happens behind the scenes. So technical SEO is the process of optimizing your site to make sure Google can find you, crawl your website, understand and index your pages. This is going to help you to be found and improve your rankings. This is all about hitting Google's criteria, or the other respective search engines. They're fussy, their criteria changes, and you need to make sure you're always paying attention to if your site is technically optimized. There's a few tools that you can use as well through WordPress. Yoast SEO is a very popular one. Webflow, if you have a site built in Webflow, they have an inbuilt SEO tool, which is fantastic, but there are a few other ones out there as well. There's a little image here on the screen that explains how search engine works and how Google will actually utilize this. When you publish content on your site, it might take a while for Google to actually find it. Keep in mind there's 30 billion web pages on the internet these days. There's a lot of them. So Google can't put their little crawling bots on everyone at the moment. But when they do, it's going to scan your website. It's going to read through the code, most importantly. And if it likes what it sees and it hits the criteria, it's going to index your page. Now, it might take, if you hit all the criteria, indexing can happen very quickly. If you don't hit the criteria, indexing can happen a little bit slower. And making sure the only way to show up in results is to actually get indexed properly and hit all of the criteria there as well. So technical optimization happens behind the scenes. And how do we check in on this? Now, there's a number of great tools. So I mentioned there's a couple of plugins in WordPress like Yoast SEO, but that will make sure you have a really clear insight to obviously red light, means that you're not doing well enough. Orange light means you're very close, and green light means you're doing a very good job. But if you do have a website in Wix or Squarespace as well, they offer simple solutions. A tool that I use with all of my clients when I talk about SEO or websites as well is Site Checker Pro. Now, this helps me to analyze, and it'll tell me all the critical warnings and just general warnings as well, what we should pay attention to. It'll also give me an insight to page speed as well, which these days, page speed is crucial and paramount to making sure people have a good experience on your website, but also for Google. This is probably one of Google's most prioritized tools at the moment. Mobile page speed in particular is crucial. 80% of visitors are likely to head to your website via mobile, especially if you are going to be active in your Google My Business. So this is a few ways that we can make sure your technical optimization and that your page speed is going to be looking really, really good. So the first thing you want to do is you want to submit your sitemap to Google. If you don't know what a sitemap is, you can generate a sitemap very easily through a couple of tools. If you just search sitemap generation free on Google, that's a great long tail keyword in itself. You can then provide that to Google through Google Search Console or something similar. And that will help Google to understand exactly the structure of your website and making sure that it's going to spend not just time on one of your pages at a time, but try to get through all of them at once to make your life a lot easier and make things happen a lot quicker as well. Through the tool Google Search Console as well, which I have, if you haven't already got that set up, I would highly, highly recommend. You can actually manually index pages. So instead of waiting for Google to tell you, hey, I'm going to index you now, you tell them, I want to be indexed right now. I put up a new blog, I put the URL in my Google Search Console, and it's going to be registered straight away, which means you have a faster chance of ranking as well. Something that might be a little bit difficult to fully wrap your heads around and comprehend straight away is an SEO-friendly site structure. So making sure that the pages don't have any redirects in place and things are all interconnected through your internal links as well. Your tools, your Webflow, your WordPress, your Wix, your Squarespace tools, they will tell you all of this. So I'm not going to dive into exactly what you need to do. I would be talking for a few hours, but Google, the tools in terms of your website builders will have exactly the information that you need. After you've got your site structure, after you've got the content on your website, after you've got everything sorted, you need to make sure that it's nice and fast. So there's tools like Tiny JPEG, and Tiny PNG that will help you to reduce the file size of your images without compromising on speed and quality, which means that they will load quicker. Google, if it has to wait longer than 3 seconds to load your website, it's going to be a little bit fussy with you, but also your customers will be fussy with you if they are waiting for 25, 30 seconds for your page to load. First impressions are everything. And 95% of people are going to formulate an opinion on your company based on that first impression, which means you do want that page to be loading very, very fast. I've harped on about mobile page speed, so making sure that it is mobile friendly as well. So responsiveness, make sure it looks good, make sure it performs well as across all devices, and making sure you re-audit. Keep going through your technical SEO optimization checklist. Keep checking in once a month is best practice. Even if you're really optimizing your site and posting a lot of content once per week would be a fantastic way to do it. So get involved with your tools, get involved in your website builders. If this is a lot and it's going over your head, that's completely okay. SEO takes a long time to fully comprehend. I will reiterate, my door is always open. Please get in touch with me if you have any specific questions. And that leads us into just the last couple of things to finish off, which is a few tools that you can take away. The first thing is Google My Business. It's very, very self-explanatory. It's your first step if you take away anything from this call. Also, get your Google Analytics account set up so you can understand your website visitors, and you can also understand where they're coming from, how much time they're spending on your website, and why they potentially are navigating away from your website as well. Google Search Console gives you a really good way to track the performance of your pages and keywords. It'll give you little summaries and digests about things that happen. So making sure you do get set up in each of those 3 fantastic Google tools. These are all a must-have, not a might-have as well. In terms of SEO software, I mentioned premium options would be Ahrefs and SEMrush. Myself, I recommend Ahrefs because that was what I started with, and that's what I will always use. Site Checker Pro is a free technical SEO audit software. You can also install a little extension to check in at a heartbeat, but drop your URL in there, see how things are going. If you're not too sure what it means, I'll put my email in the comments after this. Flick me an email with a screenshot and we can jump on a quick call to discuss as well. Google Trends is always a fantastic one to have a look at if you are product related, or if you're seasonal or in your local area. I would always have a look into Google Trends. And if you are interested in a few other pieces of SEO information, head to our blog section on the Webtec website. That's www.trywebtec.com. You can go to our blog section, check out not just about SEO. There's a few other things as well you might be interested in, but that's full of fantastic relevant content. And the last tool, of course, is me. So come in and get in touch with me if you wish. Quick reminder that someone who just signed up for a trial is going to receive 3 months of free SEO. Now, I would suggest as well that if you do have anyone, even that didn't tune into this webinar, feel free to just extend an invite or drop in their company names and details. We don't always run these free trials on these webinars, so make sure you do make the most of it as well. So key takeaways from this: step 1, get into your Google My Business setup. Make sure everything's looking accurate and consistent. Start to understand and do a bit of research into your keyword strategy. How are people going to be coming onto your website? How many doors are we going to be able to open here as well? And making sure that you are understanding that short tail keywords versus long tail keywords are going to be very, very crucial to differentiate. Start to explore the world of backlinking. It is a big, big, wide open world, very multifaceted. If you do need assistance on that, we are here with our strategies to get in place. But if you do have a good network, get involved in your blog post or your guest posting, get into your local business directories and see what we can do to make things happen there. And the last thing is the world of technical optimization all lives in those tools on your website. So download the Yoast SEO plugin, download something to do with Webflow, Wix, Squarespace. It will tell you what is and what isn't working. Site Checker Pro will also do the exact same thing, and keep coming back to this. And the last thing is make sure you have fun doing this as well. So that's the main thing. It's been a pleasure to see some fantastic comments, Joel. Really great to hear that this is all very helpful. Same to you, Anna. I'll stick around after this for a little while in the comments if you do have any questions, but we have just put in my email there. So feel free to get in touch with me via email. I will begin these trials for all of you, and I'll follow up with an email within the next couple of days. If you do want to touch base with me, I'll also drop in a 15-minute Calendly event there so you can touch base. After we wrap up everyone's trials, we will then select the winner of the 3 months free SEO. So in the meantime, if you did want to get a couple of your colleagues involved or anyone else who is in the same position as you that might benefit from a free trial, please feel free to get them in. But it's been a pleasure. The next event that we'll be going through is going to be hosted in a couple of weeks by my colleague, Edward. He's going to be talking more about websites, and he's actually going to be showing you guys some of his favorite websites to draw some inspiration from. So he is the utmost expert that I know in terms of websites. So he is a fountain of knowledge and a really genuine great guy too. So I'll be around, Ed will be around, and then in a month or so, we will be able to get going in another SEO webinar as well. I'll drop my email in to the comments as well. I can just see Joel. If you can't see email there, then I will get in touch. But pleasure to have you on board and looking forward to getting this trial started for you guys. Thank you very much. Hope you learned something and that my Australian dialect wasn't too hard to understand there. Take care.